dedicated prosecutors were designated, I think the number dropped to 20.
Yeah.
But my expectation, General, is that there should be zero, because you have a prosecutor here working with a police officer. Before the police officer could open a docket, must seek either advice or guidance from the prosecutor before they even go to court. Because here we're having an exclusive design, the multidisciplinary design. But now you still have cases which were declined in the presence of prosecutors. Now, what could be the reason?
Thank you, Chair. We have done a deep dive analysis on that. Most, if not all, of the decline to prosecute are intimidations that will be lacking the other crucial elements of crime, which are normally flowing from the made-up intimidation. We have picked up that it's happening a lot also in the same province. When you are appointed a councillor, and then you have your connection that must provide guarding services or protection services for yourself, and then you must then create that scenario. So most, if not all, of these cases that are declined to prosecute are the intimidations that are not having all the elements.
So you have no reason, we have no interest of pursuing them further. So there are no cases which were declined on the basis of insufficient evidence.
We after the capacitation of the team, including the prosecution, we never experienced that anymore in terms of murder cases.
General, are you a brave man?
Yes.
When General Spear was here, he analyzed your character with ease.
Yes.
With ease, and you could see that he was under no fear. If we can give you an opportunity here to give an analysis of Mr. Spear, of General Spear's character, what would you say?
In terms of work, he is a person who does not possess the necessary skills, especially at that level, to be able to lead, especially such a critical directorate where he is in charge of crime intelligence as well as the detection side of the police.
In terms of credibility and integrity?
Doing that assessment, he won't pass also. If I'm personally doing that, he won't make it above 50.
And how is your relationship with him? How is your relationship, the official and personal relationship?
I'll start by saying there is no personal relationship. And then official relationship, I used to define it like a romantic relationship that is having stages, and I can when I was appointed the Lieutenant General, Divisional Commissioner Crime Intelligence, General Spear was a Major General in charge of organized crime. We were working He will be in my office now and again because crime intelligence, we work mainly with organized crime and DPCI. Even the Fort Hare project, when the team was moving to University of Fort Hare, General Sbiya was part of that. So I will say I was a senior by then working was much easier. But then a day he was then promoted to the same rank with a different designation. Then that's when then the relationship, the working relationship changed. And I think as part of National Commissioner's evidence, he highlighted the meeting we had for, I think, about 6 hours, the three of us, trying to find out as to what is the problem. But then we could not get the answer from his side.
You said when you responded earlier to a particular question, it's you who uncovered that a gun that was used to murder Cindy Somagaqa was from crime intelligence.
Yeah.
Did you uncover who was behind that from crime intelligence?
Yes.
And
we did.
where is that person now?
One of them is our Section 204 witness in terms of that investigation route. And then some of them are still serving. The investigation is ongoing in terms of that second level of the resources that were used from crime intelligence, because it's not related to the matter itself. That is at trial stage. Hence, then there was a decision between us and the prosecution to separate the two investigations.
So the PKTT will proceed until when? It's operating now, correct?
Yes.
So we'll proceed until when?
The PKTT will proceed until the decision is taken to terminate its existence the correct way. But my personal view is, instead of PKTT to be terminated, I will say the methodology needs to be spread throughout the country, not under TT, but then under any other name that will help us deal with organized crime.
I'm influencing you, General, to influence your bosses that the PKTT must never be dissolved before the local government elections. It did a very great job. KZN today is a peaceful province because of that PKTT. So the people of KZN need protection. If anything, it must be beefed up. More resources must be put to protect the people of KZN. So anyone who says the PKTT must be dissolved before local government elections, that person has an ulterior motives. He does not care about the people of KZN. It must proceed, it must do its work uninterrupted. On page 15, General, paragraph 40, you are saying when you were appointed as the divisional commissioner, you introduced some interventions which were met by some resistance from some members at the senior management level. Who are those members?
In most cases, through you, Chair, it will be the senior managers that are supposed to be part of my top management, as well as some of the provincial heads. And then we resolve that by transferring some of the provincial heads out of the division.
So the only consequence management was to transfer them.
No, others that
No DC hearings, nothing.
we have done a lot in terms of disciplinary processes. Some of them were dismissed. Some of them are still appealing the dismissals. Some of them were transferred. So we have stats and on that.
Okay. So do you know Mary Dihas?
I used to hear about her. I only managed to see her clearly when he was appearing in this committee on TV, but I've never met her.
You've never met her. And Patricia Mashale.
Also, I do not know her.
You were seeing, in fact, Patricia has not appeared before this committee. So you were seeing Mary Dihas facially for the first time.
For the first time.
Okay. You have also spoken in your statement about organized crimes. And you are also saying that they have an interest of capturing those who are in the echelons of leadership. Has the PKTT or has there been no attempt to influence politically first before we go to organized crimes? Has there been no attempt to influence the PKTT?
Plenty of times there have been those attempts such that part of the strategy that is used by the PKTT is whoever at the highest level comes forward with seems correct information is your suspect number one. So it does happen.
So it does happen. Can you mention some politicians who attempted to capture the PKTT?
Not off the head, because as I've indicated that it's something that will happen after each and every investigation that will happen. You'll get a call or the commander will say, I got a call from Councillor so-and-so wanting to share information. And then they will deal that using our strategy of verifying without then taking it at face value, because we have learned to understand that that is the strategy of getting closer to the task team.
My two last questions, because I'm running out of time, so I think I won't come back. Has there been an attempt by organized crimes to capture or to influence the work of the PKTT, not by politicians now, by organized crimes? And then lastly, do you have a reporting mechanism that you espoused as the PKTT to keep the affected families informed? Because there was a complaint that family members do not get updates of cases which involve their family members. So do you have a mechanism which is written down to say, with time frames, to say at this particular time, an update must be given, and so on and so forth? Thank you very much, General. We had a very good and healthy conversation.
Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Shongwe, your time starts now.
Respond. Thank you, Honorable.
Honorable Shongwe, your time starts now.
Yebo Chair, ngicela ukuthi siqhubeke lapho, ngizoqhubeka lapho Chair. Ngaqhubeka mshoma.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, Honorable Member. It's one of
General Khumalo, Honorable Shongwe has not asked you a question.
Sawubona babu Khumalo. Aphila Mntungu.
Ngiyaphila mhlonishwa.
Siyabonga. Ngenze sokuqaphelizwa ke manje. Mashobane,
Yebo.
ngicela ukuthatha leli thuba ngibongele umzansi wonke ekuthenini ube indoda ethembekile emsebenzini wakho nanokuyinikela futhi ekuthenini noma kabe uyingozi kangakanani ukugijimisa lezi gebengu enigijimisana nazo. Futhi bathe angibonge nobaba Khumalo lapha emva kwakho indoda ebopha kakhulu.
He's
So
exposed.
ngithunywa abantu nabo. Ngicela ungichazisele i-character kababa uMkhwanazi ukwazi kwakho ngokumazi kwakho ngokusheshsha nje.
Ubaba Mkhwanazi, Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, KZN.
Yes sir.
A very difficult character to almost everybody. I met him when I came to Pretoria at a long time ago. He was here already. So he is a person that is not easily understood by most of the people. But he is a committed person on more especially on serving the people of this country.
Uyathembeka mhlawumbe.
According to me, uthembeke kakhulu.
Now uyamthemba.
Kakhulu.
Ubaba uSibe uyamthemba?
Ha.
Awumthembi.
Ha.
Njengoba u-investigator kulezi zinto oyitholile, khona into oyitholile ezubugebengu noma eyisolisa ukuthi angaboshwa?
Ubaba uSibe.
Baba uSibe.
Ngeke ngikwazi ukuthi yes now, kodwa khona there are lots of possibilities.
Bezinto ezisola ukuthi ungambopha.
Yeah.
Uvinjwa yini ukuthi umbophe?
Point of order, Chair.
Sorry. Chair, please pause my time.
Yeah. Point of order taken, Honorable Solis.
Chair, may we please have translation for our benefit?
Okay. Honorable Shongwe, if you ask a question in your mother tongue, may you also help us to translate it to English.
Chair, that will hamper my time, Chair. Before you start this Katsami, Chair, asike sithi kuba. Bamashobane, uthe uvinjwe yini ungabophi ubaba uSibe?
Ubaba uSibe, like any other person who is subject of investigation, has to be arrested when the investigation is complete. We don't believe in investigating after arresting. So in most of our cases, that's how we work, and that's what we are encouraging with the PKTT methodology. So whoever is a suspect needs to be investigated and then arrested when we are done.
Uthe ubaba uSibe wena wazi lutho ngesiphoyisa ukaze awuna experience. So ngifuna ukwazi ukuthi uphade yachi lo okubophile unolwazi ngaye mhlambe ne-experience yakhe.
According to the profile that I'm having of Patriarch, the profile, I worked with him when we were both at Crime Intelligence. I've never heard of him doing any investigation. I met him at Crime Intelligence. I left him at Crime Intelligence until then he went on pension or resigned, something like that. So
Okay.
that is what I know about him.
So ungakwazi wakha kana experience.
No, I don't.
Because ubaba uNqoli yakubuza la ukuthi Baba Mkhwanazi uthe ukuboshwa kwakho bekuyi-project. Phinde wathi ukuvalwa kwe-PKTT was a project. Manje umbuzo enginawo uthi le project kahle kahle beyisiza abantu. Ubani lo bekazoboshwa after i-31 or ngoJanuwari makuzophuma iletha? Ubani lo bekumele nimbophe kwagijima kwaphuma iletha ngokusheshsha ukuthi vimbani benibamba bani?
There are a lot, baningi, Mhlonishwa,
Awungepha abawu-4 nje kuphela ngifuna ubona ukuthi uthembakele. Oh.
okusivimbayo kunye ukuthi
Umthetho.
umthetho wase South Africa uthi asikwazi ukusho singakamvezi umuntu enkantolo.
Ngoba isikhathi sami sesizongishaya uWinnie Mandela wesikhashana ukubophile.
Point of order, Chair.
Yes. We definitely I think Chair, after this I'll just write all of this
No, Chair,
questions,
you
please.
must make a ruling then, make it a standard and let us understand whether
No,
we
no.
are allowed to do
Let me
that.
let me tell you, honorable member, I don't want to be thrown into your debate. If you want to get involved in a debate like this one, discount me in this kind of a debate.
I'm not debating, Chair. I'm requesting to participate in understanding the exchange for our benefit. That's what I'm asking. I'm not even saying the honorable member should not speak in his mother tongue. I'm saying then translate so that we can participate and understand what the question is and then link it with the response. That's my request.
Yes, your request is a very genuine request, and the use of mother tongue by the honorable member is equally important. It's not a point that we can ignore in a country like ours. But all of you as honorable members, from day one when we started to describe situations like this one, I used a word called reasonableness. If you know what the word reasonableness means and understand it, you will help us to move forward in such a way that each one of us will be accommodated. Honorable Nombalo.
No, Chair, we're really offended by Honorable Saul's behavior. If these translators are not working, then that's none of our business. It's in his right, Honorable Shongwe, to speak a language of his choice. People must not jump like popcorns here. Please don't interrupt us. This is our speaker on the floor. It's his time. And if he likes, when he comes, he can speak Afrikaans. No one will interrupt him.
Chair,
No.
I have no problem with mother tongue. I'm just asking for
Honorable Saul,
understanding.
Honorable Saul, may you please listen to me? Because I'm still trying to digest what the honorable member wants to mean when he uses the word popcorn. Honorable Nombalo, can you say popcorn again?
Popcorn, Chair.
What does that mean in
It means we are jumping.
committee proceedings like
It
like
means we
this
are
one?
jumping, Chair, constantly.
Yeah.
That's what Honorable Saul is doing. He keeps on interrupting our speaker.
Can
And
we
we've never interrupted him when he speaks,
Can
when
we
he's on
look
the floor.
for another reasonable word to use that?
We must stop interrupting our speaker, Chair.
Is
The
it
translation is not working, then that's none of our business. Why should it be attributed to our speaker?
Is it difficult for you to say the honorable member may kindly stop interrupting?
You must stop interrupting our speaker, Chair.
You know, I want to say this to you, honorable members. Let's respect each other when we are in this committee or in this National Assembly. Number one is that all of us are human beings, and we want to be regarded and addressed as such. Number two is that the work that we do here is in service of the people of South Africa, some of whom you met during the Christmas break, and they appreciated the kind of work that you are doing for them. And some of them also see you as role models. The way you conduct yourself and the way you execute our responsibilities. And I just want to make that plea to you that in whatever manner that we address each other, it must be in keeping with the values that the people of South Africa embrace. The plea by the honorable member is not something that can plunge the meeting into chaos. And it's not something that can agitate any one of us. It's a genuine plea. And I thought we should treat it as such. If we do not have translation services here, there is a staff of parliament which knows the problem and will make a commitment to say in future, let's arrange with the administration of parliament to have translation services. You can't go to war on something like that one. And it's not something which can agitate us to start calling each other names or using words that are unreasonable for us to use here. So may you please, Honorable Nomvalo, withdraw the use of
I
the word
withdraw, Chair.
popcorn. May you please apologize to the honorable member.
I withdraw, Chair.
May you please apologize to the people of South Africa who are watching you.
No, but Chair, I'm doing what is within the rules.
South Africa
Withdrawing,
is watching
I've
you
withdrawn,
now.
Chair, I've withdrawn.
Thank you, sir. You
Withdrawn.
are withdrawing. Yeah, thank you. Your concern is noted, Honorable Souls. Unfortunately, now we may not have any way to resolve it if we are unable to persuade the member to use the language that will benefit all of us. But what is very, very important is that as Parliament, we also have a duty to protect and promote the use of African languages. And with that said, we will check with the administration of Parliament if there is a possibility for them to support us with interpreters. Honorable Source.
Can I just be very clear, Chair, that I agree with the promotion of African languages must be spoken freely. Equally so, we must balance it out with, for the purposes of the work that we are doing together, we must understand the content so that we can all be efficient. And it is from that direction that I come. But I'm not at all saying the honorable member should not speak in his mother tongue.
Yeah.
I'm asking for indulgence so that I can appreciate the content of what he is saying. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Skhosana.
Ngithokoze umgcini isihlalo. Ngicabanga ukuthi you know senze umraro la khona la sihleli khona la. Nga raise an issue here when the plenary was sitting here about the issue of language. Ngaphakamisa kanengi bagcine bacachile ngikhuluma ngesindebele ukuthi ekhaya ngoba thina abantu esiba representako whereas abanye bathi abahambe or bathi abenzeni thina abantu esiba representako babantu abakhuluma ilanguage engikhuluma ko le. Now iparlamente ilungu elihloniphekeleko kungenzeka ukuthi likhuluma into erehe nje mara ngiyayivala ngiba ukuthi umgcini isihlalo le language esinayo language board or i language board or niyibizane Ama-interpreters are not enough in parliament. Mara sikwazi ukuthi ke sikandelelwe sibanje ngomphimbo ukuthi ifanele sikhulume ilanguage. Ngoba abosoli bayikhuluma ababafunako. Bake basho lapha esitena bathi abahambe. And isikhethu leso. Now ngiyanibawa no ukuthi iparliament akazokubhalelwa ukuqatsha abantu abazokukhuluma ilanguage esikhulumako. I'm just saying ukuthi singayirarulula mani into encane nje kunabantu abalena emleji nabantu abasemleji abafuna ukulalela ukuzwa ukuthi ukhuluma njani njengo chairperson akwazi ukukhuluma isikhuwa sizokurara nawe ngelinye ilanga ngiyakuthokoza mgcinisihlalo.
Look, I don't think that we should debate the point, because what you are doing, you are debating the point. This is not, but let's not debate it. I think
I'm not debating, Chair. I'm just raising the concern. Thank you, Chair.
the honorable member raised a concern, and his concern is located between two competing imperatives. So I don't think it's a matter which we should debate, but at the heart of it is that, listen to what the point is. At the heart of it is that it is not the quality of the team that wins games, but it is the quality of interactions between the team players that will make us a winning team. You can get players of good quality. If they play for individual brilliance, you will never win any game. But the quality of interactions in a team is the one that is going to make the team succeed. Can we please proceed?
Thank you, Chair. Ke siyamar meneer Sol. The problem is that wanneer ek praat Engels en ek praat from my heart, ek praat nie lekker Engels nie. Ek praat soos ek praat nou. So with all respect, I agree with you, but I hope Parliament fixes that problem and gets us interpreters on time. Ek is jammer, meneer. Does he accept my apology? Mashoba, ngiyaxolisa mphathi wami ngokuxolela kakhulu baba. Kuvamile ukuthi
Honorable Show, come in, Honorable Souls.
Honorable Shongwe, I'm a black African brother. I don't blame you. I'm asking you for us to be productive. I want to join you, but I don't blame you for the issue. But we shouldn't be made to feel like because I'm the blackest in the room and I only speak Afrikaans and English from Eldos, that I'm not an African in this country. Coloreds are Africans in this country. And so I don't blame you, but if that's your choice, Chair, for the sake of progress, I will understand, but I wanted to participate as it is required of us. And your analogy was perfectly placed, but we will leave it to the honorable members to decide. Thank you, Chair.
In fact, if we were going to use complexion as a measure, you were going to be the most African amongst us.
I agree. And history has twisted the understanding that we are not African because of where we come from. I'm African as everybody else here, no matter what language I speak. It's my country. I have no other country. Because Khabora Iche and us Baizani. Mara's all right.
Yeah. Yeah,
Thank you, Chair.
Canons first up and
Yeah, no, excel, meneer. Bab Mashoban, se kuvamile ke ukuthi makukhuluma mina ke ngiphazanyiswe bese ushe athathe isikhathi sami ke asifake lapho. Kodwa lo 13 minutes wamosele angusebenzise kahle. Bengibuza indaba yaka mama uWinnie Mandela wesikhashana samanje. Umama uWinnie Mandela ukubophile. mangilandele indaba yakhona ukuthi ukubophile lapha e-airport wakuvimba kufaka uzankosi wabukisa ngawe. Kodwa mangilandelela indaba yakhona umam Johnson, Andre Johnson, advocate, naye wenza into efanayo yokuthi ahlaleke yena futhi yakhe iwes ngoba wahlala nendoda yakhe kwi-panel waba khona lapho ubuye aqambe namanga ukuthi waphumela ngaphandle. So baba Mashobane, wena-ke sowuhlulwa yini ukuthi uyombopha-ke yena-ke nawe sowufound out ukuthi ukushayela into efana naleyo yenzela usabeni ubandiswe yini?
Ngiyabonga mhlonipheki dad. No, akukho kubambile kodwa one ucabanga ukuthi when the time is right kufanele kwenziwe into right. Okwamanje sisadila nalo mcimbi lo wami.
Isekhona le ndaba yokuthi iqala libola ngithi ikhona esibhedlela.
Yeah, because
Lingaboli-ke mphathi futhi usheshe ngoba uyamosha. Nginenkinga la. Ngokubuka kwakho umuntu onjani umuntu njani mhlawumbe olalela ugogo uMeredihas bese athatha isinqumo. Umuntu onjani othatha leyo umlalelayo lo mama amlalele bese athi hayi angisithathe lesi sinqumo. Kusuke kuwumuntu onjani? Mhlambe kwalithola ithuba wambukela ugogo uMeredihas mayekhuluma kulamalanga nathi ngifuna ukwazi ukuthi uminister umbona umuntu onjani noma umuntu onjani uthatha isinqumo ngenxa kaMeredihas.
Uma kuwumuntu ophelele ngokomqondo, umuntu angazi kahle igama lesizulu o desperate ukuthi I can take whatever that I can make a reason. Because out of everything that umama uDihase is saying, there is nothing akukho kwenza isense. Ungakulalela kwenza isense.
Usho ukuthi baMashobane nawe ucabanga njengoba ngicabanga ukuthi kunenkulumo oyivezile la wathi buye kwaba ne-interdict efakwayo makumele nibopha abantu. Kwase kubulawa ama-witnesses enu. Sase yasiphuma i-judgment emva kwalokho. Kodwa mayiphuma i-judgment iphuma sewabulewa amalokhunja ama-witness. Ngibuyela la ekuthenini kuba nento emeli yenzeke bese kuphuma iletha nge-31 evimba ukuthi ningasaqhubeki manini kanjalo kuthiwa immediate stop. Then emva kwaloko kuba negama ezenzakalayo suddenly sekuthiwa no immediate ubungasho ukuthi mani manje qhubekani. Yini le ethengwele isikhathi yavinjwa noma kwangaboshwa labantu laba bekumele baboshwe? Ngisabuza futhi ukuthi obani labantu bekumele baboshwe kulesi sikhathi lesi le window period lethengiwe bekuthengelwani ngoba into kaMeredihas ayingenzeli isense ukuthi kungaba yiyona ethathwe ngayo isinqumo. Mina-ke ngivumelana naye ubaba uMqhunu mayethi akasithathanga isinqumo ngenxa kamama uMeredihas but usithathe ngesinqumo ngoba kukhona ekuvimbayo. Wena uphikisana nami lapho uthini makuthi uyaphikisana mphathi?
Angiphikisani nawe through you chair. Ingakho nje ubufakazi bami kwi-affidavit buna those suspicions ukuthi it cannot be because onke lama reason afaka even umama uDihas aqhamuka after the decision in terms of the investigation. Our investigation is very wide. Yes, siyavuma ukuthi ikhubazekile as besiqala take down and then we were on the roll. Sihamba sithi sifuna ukwenza impact as quickly as possible. Yaphazamiseka. Kodwa yaphazamiseka kabili. Iphazamisekile ngama disbandment nama uncertainties between January and June. Then June saboshwa yaphinde yaphazamiseka further. So almost ngonyaka wonke but siyazama ukuthi sibuyisele on track.
Are you promising mina nama South Africans ukuthi lezi nyanga ezo2 event lami la ngaphandle lobe ligcwele?
Yeah, isathembisa.
Okay.
Sathembisa.
Ubaba uFani, uGeneral Fani, wathi yena i-office lakhe aliyibonanga into wrong ngetender kaKhet Matlala. Ngokwazi kwakho kukhona into wrong kule tender laKhet Matlala?
Emva kokulalela ama-discussions, ngethula ufakazi ngithe thina operational people asazi lutho ngama-tender issues. But okwasithusa ukuthi after our operation, and then everybody came out talking as if they are like us. Ukuthi they did not, babengayazi le tender. Ithe besingayazi tender. Siqala ukuyizwa kuma-court papers. Futhi siqala ukuyizwa on the 6th during the discussion no Matlala sitshela ukuthi une-tender and usebenzisa even permission yokusebenzisa i-hospital college wayithola through wayediscussa no-General Sibiya, things like that.
Cabanga ukuthi uChair usezongivalisa. Kodwa ngicela ukwenza nasi isithembiso. Ngoba ngixakwe yinto kababa uma umela la. Uma nithathela umuntu izinto niyibamba usuke kunecala lapho, right?
Yeah.
Suke kumoshakele crime leyo, right? So kune crime or something. So akaboshwanga ngani uma umela makuthathwa la Lamborghini akhe uselendlini yena kodwa izinto ziyahamba. Kuza kanjani lokho?
Kuncika kwi-investigation approach esetshenziswayo i-team ephenyayo. I-team ephenyayo njengamanje ile ebizwa nge-SIU. So indlela le eqala isebenze ngayo ukuthi iqale ifreeze ama-assets bese iyaqhubeka ne-investigation.
Before ngibuya ngizobuya kulelo phuzu leli. Kule story lezi ezikhulunywa ngobabucele Ndosi ukuthi uthe kuma kuKhet Matlala ka fabricate izitori zama Rolex watch nama laptop. Uyayikholwa ukuthi ikhona lento le show Khet?
Le mina ngitshelwe ubaba uNdosi.
Ehe.
Ngiyayikholwa ngoba siyithole kuqala before even I was even told by him. Siyithole kuqala ukuthi uKhet was seen wearing the same Rolex watch by other people saying the same thing ukuthi I was influenced ukuthi I must frame these charges. So sikholwa ngalokho ukuthi it was not for the first time.
And who was the influencer?
uJenerali Sibiya.
uSibiya.
Yeah.
So nalapho futhi akafuni ukubapha uSibiya.
Those are allegations that we investigate.
Ngithembisa nakho njengesishaya mthetho nami engikubonayo la okuvimbe wena ukuthi uqede lama arrest. Yabo manje sibalekelwe enye indoda ebathi uPaulo Sullivan. Kumile ile phesheya. Silibaza umthetho lo osebenzisayo wala South Africa kuthiwa iRoman Dutch law. Ngoba ngabe sebenzisa wethu umthetho. Labantu ngabe bala eSouth Africa futhi ngabe abanye babo baboshiwe. So ngiyabona ukuthi common denominator la is this constitution engayona yama South Africans that I think we should consider as members of parliament in fixing and focusing on the laws that are hindering amaphoyisa to arrest people. You'll find a person or repeal 3 days uphumile ungaphandle. You'll find a murderer uphumile ungaphandle because of this Roman Dutch law. So I promise to you Babu Khumalo ukuthi sizosebenza ngamandla somkhonto noma ngeke ngithi thina ama members of parliament ukuthi siwushintshe lona mthetho onivimbayo ukuthi omama labo oWin Mandela abamanje abanibophayo manisebenza banivimbe ukuthi nibopha abantu basebenzise lo mthetho ukuthi banivalele ukuze nivimbeke ningabopha abantu abafanele. Isithembiso sami le Nkosi Bosisi ngiyabonga mshobana.
Ngiyabonga.
Thank you so much, Honorable Cameron.
Thank you,
Now,
Chair.
it's now 7:15. So your time with Honorable top combined is up to 21 hours. The time starts now.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, General Khumalo. General, I'm going to start with the issue regarding senior level exposure and general misconduct. You've referred to it several times today. You have many years of experience in SAPS. Let me start by asking whether your responsibilities place you in a position to receive intelligence reports. We know it obviously does. Internal complaints or operational briefings relating to misconduct of senior SAPS officers. So, I mean, you've already indicated yes for those who didn't see. Based on your experience, have there been brigadiers or generals within SAPS during your time as the Divisional Commissioner of Crime Intelligence who raised concerns relating corruption, interference in investigations, or the misuse of specialized units?
Within the division, crime intelligence, I've never received such complaints.
Have you noted any specific members within the division that posed any of those threats to the police?
Yes, I have identified such members, and we are dealing with them accordingly. Some of them are dismissed already. Some of them, then we are in the process of different steps that we are taking against.
I'm going to come back to the dismissals later, General, but just for everyone's clarity, so you don't have to name anyone now, can you explain how such problematic conduct typically manifests in practice? So share some examples. You mentioned earlier about senior management in Gauteng, for example. But even if it's on a national level, can you give us an example of, practical example of where you noticed or had to intervene because of interference in investigations, manipulation of task teams, or other kinds of influence, any kind of obstruction? Can you give us one or two examples?
Within the division, Honorable Chair, honorable members, one, as I indicated in my affidavit, that one of the critical issues that we identified was the lawlessness. That is lawlessness that is linked with the hiding behind secrecy of the environment, which made it easier than for this culture of doing wrong things to be allowed or to be regarded as if there is nothing wrong about it. So anyone who will want to act against that will be the one who's having a problem.
So General, in your experience, are you aware currently of any senior officers that benefit from some kind of protection within the South African Police Service environment that allows them to persist with misconduct?
Yes, as part of this investigation that we're busy with, yes, we have identified a lot of senior officers.
What structures or mechanisms mostly provide this? So to give you clarity, and you'll see where I'm going with this, I'm going to touch on policy regarding the disciplinary process and so on, but what mechanisms do they hide behind? If not mechanisms, which people do they hide behind?
In most cases at senior level, they hide behind some of the senior officials that do not apply the legal framework correctly so, or are scared of applying the legal framework. It is a norm that in most cases it's a matter of faking sickness and booking of sick for the next 2 years. And then whoever then has to deal with that situation lacks then the legal understanding as to how to go about dealing with such situation.
General, can you give an example of any members that have recently done that have booked off or just stayed away from work?
In my environment, yes, I had General Motley that booked off sick, I think, for about 2 years.
Sure. Would you what usually prevents, I'm trying to see which one to go for first, but is it usually do they try and steer away from disciplinary processes or from criminal processes from being finalized? So what I'm trying to get at is is it because of policy gaps or is it because of reluctance? Do we have the mechanisms to actually tackle some of these issues or these persons, or do we need to change policy?
According to my assessment, currently, we have correct policies that can help us, but it does not mean that there is no room for improvement in terms of those policies. But the ones that we are having, they are sufficient for now to deal with such situations.
General, with regards to Gauteng, I just want to move back to that quickly. Did you engage at that stage with the provincial commissioner in Gauteng regarding the entrenched corruption, especially in senior management?
No, we have not engaged yet.
Why is that?
Firstly, as I've indicated, that we are coming out of a very chaotic period. From the 31st of December to June, our arrest and removal, and then we are now, according to us, it's the beginning of the year was the end of the year last year.
Mm.
So we are just coming back now, trying to get back on track.
I want to speak to you about fitness boards, and we can use examples as well, and then I'll touch on policy again. But can you, for the record, explain in clear terms what Section 34 of the SAPS Act provides for, and what is the purpose of Section 34 fitness boards?
Firstly, Section 34 is not there to replace the Regulation 9. But it's one of the policies that are available for us to utilize. In our environment, we have utilized it a lot, and we are utilizing a lot where we see the behavior that is suspicious of, more especially a senior officer not being fit to hold office, and then we use it in those circumstances.
How does it differ from an ordinary disciplinary process, General?
Firstly, it differs from because any commissioned officer can then be appointed to deal with whoever at any level, unlike then the regulations where you will need then the role players to be of a particular level. So it involves investigation. You still appoint an investigator who's going to investigate the allegations against then what is expected against all the policies of the organization. And then if then the investigation comes with the recommendation of Section 34 inquiry, then that investigating officer will go and present to the chairperson of the inquiry then as to the reasons or as to the outcomes of the investigation, and then the employer is given then time to make his or her representations, and then the chairperson then will take the final decision in terms of recommending to whoever appointed him or her.
So, I mean, the way you describe it, it sounds like it's an effective mechanism. Why is it that it feels like sometimes senior members in SAP, broadly speaking, seem reluctant to use Section 34?
I won't have the direct answer through you, Chair, Honorable Member, but for one, as one of senior managers, it's one of the most effective negative discipline tool that we have at our exposure.
Is there a specific person, this is all for the record when we report afterwards, but is there a specific individual that's responsible for deciding not to invoke Section 34? So for example, you mentioned General Moodley earlier. If you go through a Section 34 process, does the National Commissioner have to sign off if you would like to go on with that process?
No, so Section 34 is available for all commanders or managers at all levels, because if I invoke it in my environment, and then the National Commission will still be the appeals authority for the affected employee. I utilized it during the case of the Western Cape Provincial Head, and then the appeal was successful. I did it again, and then the following time it was not successful.
And this was General Teal.
That was General Teal.
General, I want to understand, can you give the committee an idea of the cost that it costs taxpayers if some of these senior individuals remain in their positions and supposedly book off sick? Let's use General Moodley or General Teal for that matter. Let's use General Moodley. For 2 years, what would that have cost the taxpayer, more or less?
Yeah, at that senior level, it won't be less than 4 to 5 million, because we are including the acting expenditure when that person is away. So it's like you are double paying for the same position.
Thank you, General. General, my last few questions are regarding the PKTT. The Political Killing Task Team was originally established with quite a narrow mandate, or a very focused mandate relating to political assassinations. Why did it come to be used so extensively in Gauteng specifically for matters that seem to be beyond its original mandate?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. As I was explaining, that in Gauteng, the only reason can be the project coordinator of PKTT was also the coordinator of GCI Ops in Gauteng. So based on the threat and risk assessment that was on the table, and the agency. That was a must. Then one had to take that decision to utilize them for those 2 weeks.
Who authorized the expansion of the task team's role in Gauteng?
Thank you, Chair. The assistance, the support provided in Gauteng is not interpreted as an extension of the mandate. It is interpreted as providing the support for a short time, and then it is the National Commissioner who approved that assistance and the period thereof.
And for the record then, General, was it in your view appropriate, particularly given that the Hawks are the statutory body, according to me, from what I understand, mandated to investigate serious organized crime and corruption?
The events of the 6th.
No, sorry. Let me make it clearer. And it's again just for the record. The Hawks are mandated for serious organized crime, correct? So the question is, was the expansion of the task team's mandate appropriate?
To include to Gauteng.
To Gauteng, yeah.
To Gauteng.
Yeah.
Maybe, Chair, through you, I must start from what I explained in details to say this investigation in Gauteng started as a normal investigation by an organized crime unit that is attached in Gauteng Provincial Office, a murder of Aman Swart. So they were just investigating that single incident. What made it to be at where it is now? It's because of the threat and risk assessment, which is the mandate of crime intelligence, that we had to conduct, and then it gave then the findings that are talking to a risky situation that needed a quick response. Hence, then we had to quickly register a counterintelligence project to prevent the loss of lives, as well as then the disappearance of that investigation, as I narrated that it was talking to the ballistic reports that were disappearing, talking to the threats directed towards the members. So the time was not on our side. We had to act as quickly as possible.
Thank you, General. General, then my last two, I want to, and I touched on this with General Mkhwanazi as well, and also with General Sabia. General Sabia vehemently denied it, but the conspiracy of the events that we've seen take place over the last almost 12 months was that there was an attempt, or there would be an attempt, to arrest the National Commissioner. General Sabia would become the acting National Commissioner or the National Commissioner. The conspiracy then further grew that General Khan would either become the head of crime intelligence, or he would have, I don't know, Deputy National Commissioner position, and that there are other individuals that would then fall in under them. What is your opinion of this? How do you think it was? Because the more I listen to or the stories around Minister Mkhunu as well, I must be honest, it started to feel like there's some truth in that, that it was literally an entire grouping that wanted to, I don't know if we can call it hijack, take over, but somehow control more of the police.
Thank you, Chair. It will be very difficult not to start to believe that that theory, especially us that are part of the whole play, and we are there, and we can see. So that theory might be very true that there are or were plans, or there are still plans then of getting rid of some of the people, so as then those that are having their own ulterior motives can then ascend to the positions.
General, my last question is regarding General Sabia. Quite a few of the members in the committee grilled him with many questions, especially with regards to his association with certain controversial figures. Why was he never, it feels like he was never properly investigated or and then arrested? Because according to me, at some stage there should have been enough red lights or red flags popping up for action to be taken.
According to my opinion, maybe it is the reason is there is always been a belief that it's impossible for such behavior to be experienced at that senior level. So it's only now that SAPS is realizing that it is very possible. So there was nothing that was done, and there are lots of other examples that we can throw on the table.
Thank you. Thank you, General. Chair, that's it from me. I'm rather going to hand over to the Honorable Klopper. To you first, sir.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Thank you so much, Honorable Klopper. May you please proceed.
Thank you very much, Chair, and thank you, General. Earlier, you spoke about the phones of Mr. Nhlanhla and the alleged deleting of information on the phone. When General Sabia was here, and when we questioned him about whether information such as messages and data and stuff could be inserted onto the cellular phone by crime intelligence, his response was it was very doable. Do you agree with that assessment? And if so, what lawful circumstances would crime intelligence have in this technical ability to do so?
We are improving day by day, but when it comes to that statement of crime intelligence being in a position to manipulate what is on the system, we are not there yet, or on the gadget. We are not there yet, but indeed we are improving day by day.
So, General, you would say that General Sabia was misleading this committee under oath?
Yes, do not have that capability.
Thank you, General. But due to my limited time, I'll be jumping between questions and different sections. In paragraph 42, you state that their efforts to identify and recruit capable senior officers through transfers and promotions resulted in accusations that you were bringing your own people. Who precisely are you referring to, or is being referred to as your own people? And on what basis was those accusations made, and you know, seemingly who was to benefit from making these accusations?
Thank you, Chair. The people that one will refer to firstly will be General Madondo, who was formerly with crime intelligence for a long time, and then we needed her capabilities in terms of intelligence analysis and coordination, as she was now working for the crime research unit. So that is the first person that we requested to join us on transfer. And also a Brigadier Britnell, who was also with the crime research, who had been with crime intelligence for a long time. It's those two that we approached, requesting them to transfer to the division. In terms of the appointments, there's been lots of appointments, but there were only two that were deemed to be not accepted within and outside the division. The first one was a brigadier that we appointed to be in charge of our intelligence planning and monitoring with a master's degree in planning and monitoring and vast experience that we appointed from IPID. She was in charge of the same environment at IPID, and also a brigadier that we were arrested for, one of the very few qualified mechatronics in this country with a master's degree, but then still we got that hiding.
General, reporting structures according to you of the PKTT never changed actually and remains the same oversight body. And as far you go on to say as far as what you are aware. So according to your witness statement, the last IMC took place on the 5th of September 2023. The question though is, did you raise this concern at any point at meetings, so forth, and why that these meetings stopped with the IMC? Because I battled to find how informed decisions around the PKTT could be made without these progress reports and formal meetings given, to the committee of the IMC. How were these decisions made? How was direction formulated? How was funding decided?
Thank you, Chair. Most of the operational decisions will be done at a directors general level from all the stakeholders that are involved. So operationally, we were not affected. But then in terms of strategic guidance and oversight, one was hoping, because if you look at the period after the last briefing of the president in March 2024, and then what followed were elections. And then after elections, then I think we are all aware it took quite some time for the government to be established. And so as soon as then there were appointments, then we were still waiting on the queue that we are going to be called by the new chairperson to come and brief. But instead, then the disbandment came.
Thank you, General. I won't labor the point, but there was also a long time before elections, between September and the elections was approximately 8 months, that also nothing happened. So I think that also caused a bit of turmoil and brings us to where we are today. And I said that's the reason I mentioned the significance of it. You stated in paragraph 95 that criminal syndicates sought to capture and capture officials by embedding themselves within the police leadership and political officers. And this committee has heard a lot about other high-ranking SAPS officials that seem to have self-serving interests rather than that of the public good. And obviously been denied by every single person here, every wrongdoing. Not one person has held onto a stitch of accountability while sitting here before us. I am, however, interested to know which political officers are you alluding to, and the officer self and the persons, and I bring it to your paragraph 95. You mention it in the unfortunate Swartz assassination, and you speak specifically about the syndicates, not specifically PKTT. Who are you referring to there?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. That part, paragraph 95, is part of my overview of how organized crime will then have its roots in a particular environment. So there one was still explaining that if the syndicate then wants to start operating, then they have to make sure that if it's at local government level, they have to get closer to the highest political figures that are at that level, also at provincial as well as national.
General, is any of those politicians currently sitting in the structures that have been taken out? Because, I mean, if you're saying that these people are involved, you know that they're involved, are they being investigated? Are there any politicians currently sitting that are involved that you know of?
As through you, Chair, as I requested that the investigation that is still ongoing, if I cannot comment directly on it. Hence, then one decided to include that modus operandi there on top before we get to the Swartmeda case and the arrest and the real events as they happened. But indeed, there are those that are identified at all those levels of society, from politicians and
So through these investigations and court cases, those names will finally be revealed.
yes.
I mean, in general, you understand why we're sitting here. It doesn't help we name and shame every SAP member who is involved with corruption, but we seem to hide the politicians, which seems very strange. And for context, for my next question was paragraph 142 and 143. Describe the interaction of Mr. Nhlanhla, charged with serious crimes. And he met with the former minister, Bheki Cele, and you alluded to him that he would requested to fabricate allegations. And while we heard from the former minister, it wasn't merely a request. And in my opinion, what was expressed in the witness statements that we've seen and now, Mr. Nhlanhla was confessing. It wasn't about a request to do something. He was confessing to have lied about the theft of the officials to former Minister Cele. And those police officials are your colleagues, you know, your police colleagues. And we can see this is mentioned in paragraph 276A, STK 15, page 125 and 126. And if I understand correctly, this was later withdrawn.
Yes.
But from your experience as a senior SAPS officer, I mean, firstly, would someone normally charged with serious crimes seek guidance from a former minister that they were not particularly friends with, they weren't close by nature? I don't know if this interaction is normal, and more importantly, I just want to know what risk does it pose to the integrity of the criminal justice system if, I don't want to say, I want to say alleged criminals are interacting with absolute high-ranking officials or ex-officials.
Thank you, Chair. It talks to the threat that I talked to when I was on this subject, to say that is one of the characteristics that we use to see a person who is part of a syndicate or a cartel who would want to be connected with those former or current senior officials at all levels. I should think that one of the facts that were presented by the former minister here was his advice for him to go and meet me, which then he did not repeat to me, because maybe he knows me by now that I was not going to. I try my best not to get closer to a target of investigation.
Thank you, General. In paragraph 276B, you also speak about cases opened by 3 relatives of Mr. Molefe against the GCI ops team. The alleged incident occurred when the 3 complainants accompanied members to relatives' residence in search of a suspect. After assisting the team, the complainants were returned to the original location, and at no point were they detained, kidnapped, deprived of their liberties. That is what stands in your witness statement. Who is the members this paragraph refers to? Just members. It said accompany the members.
The members of GCI Ops, there is an outstanding warrant of arrest of another Molefe who was supposed to be arrested with Katiso Molefe, that he is still on the run. They have lots of houses across the country. So the families then were assisting the team moving from province to another province, searching for this wanted suspect.
They were the complainants, correct? Or did they open a complaint?
They opened complaints after the operation.
Were they alleging? What were they alleging?
Alleging some kidnapping
By the JCI
by
members.
the GCI.
GCI members, sorry.
Yes, yes.
Thank you, General. That covers me there. You referred to the identification of ghost employees who were unlawfully employed, a part of the recruited 250. And I may have missed what you mentioned on that. There's a continuous accusation on this. What is the meaning of the recruited 250 in your statement, and when did you first become aware of that?
The recruited 250 because I happened to grow not far away from crime intelligence. I was aware of it when it was happening, but then also in the state capture report, it's nicely explained as to how that project went about in terms of that recruitment.
And thank you, General. I think that the public sector really does have a problem with ghost employees in general, and I just think it must be attributed to either internal control methods that are absolutely non-existent and weak, and many corrupt officials that are in your departments that keep this actually supported, because it doesn't end. You state that decisions were not supported by senior management level, and the misinformation through the media is used after each decision is taken. I just identify which decisions were undermined internally and what reports you made about this resistance. Is the senior management the people going to the media and peddling this misinformation, as you put it?
Yes, indeed. It includes senior management being part of misinformation. So the decisions, I passed on them. I'm just trying to go back to they are on page 16 from paragraph 41 of my affidavit. The decisions, they start from reviewing and aligning the performance indicators of the division. I explained there that the division was operating in a real silo mentality, that it's like just crime intelligence, not subs crime intelligence. So we had to do a lot of convincing to firstly align our annual operational and performance plans to talk to the priorities of SAPS, even the targets. If SAPS visible policing, their target is to make sure that not more than 50,000 vehicles are hijacked, And then crime intelligence, their target must be to recover at least 50% of that. I'm making an example. That is the alignment that we had to do. So the decisions, they move from there to the financial as well as physical or human resource related policies that we had to put in place so as we avoid the issues of ghost employees, the issues of embezzlement of informal rewards funds. So you take that decision at a national level, you expect then to be implemented across the country by all 9 provincial heads as well as component heads. That's where then we had a problem of the implementation of those decisions.
Thank you for your reply, General. Only thing concerning is that these senior managements within crime intelligence are going to the media about these type of internal decisions. What else is going to the media and compromising the operations of crime intelligence? And I think that should really worry you and your department to your core, that those are the officials that are working for you. My last question would be on the finding of RICA. You mentioned it in your paragraph 43. You just make a quick reference to RICA. But you and I both know that the Constitutional Court ruled, the legislative framework and so forth. And I just would really actually like to know how it's impacting crime intelligence. And I would question if you accept that it is impacting crime intelligence, given that there's like the lack of post-surveillance notifications, absence of independent review, indefinite suspensions and so forth. That interception conducted under the current framework risks being challenged as unlawful and could really undermine prosecutions. I would just like your view on that, and that would be my closing question.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, Honorable Member. You are quite right. Those are all challenges that are affecting the whole intelligence community when it comes to RICA. And we are hoping that with the review that is ongoing, we are going to be assisted. So on this part, we were only talking to when things are right, to say we will be able then to continue with our lawful interceptions with that exemption certificate.
Thank you, General, and thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chopper. Honorable Matthews.
Yes, I need to put on these glasses of mine, otherwise I'm going to see wrong things. Thank you, Chair. Lieutenant General, just as we start, let's talk a bit about your health. Are you comfortable to share with us, was your ill health? We were freaked out because we thought you were not going to end up appearing before us after your appearance at the commission. Was it related to your testimony at the commission?
I'm not sure. I'm comfortable to report that my health is back to normal. I got the necessary assistance.
And it was not anything untowards that happened in the commission that resulted in your ill health?
No.
Okay. I'll start off with something before we get into the nitty-gritty. The EFF had a one-day national shutdown on the 20th of March, 2023. I'm sure you heard the testimony of your CFO when she appeared before us, and she reported to us at the ad hoc committee that SAP spent 368 million for a one-day shutdown. You were head of crime intelligence during this time. What intelligence, if you had any, that would justify spending that amount of money for a protest?
Thank you, Chair. What we are responsible for is firstly the assessment of the threat that we think that might be on its way. Then the plan then is the responsibility of the visible policing to plan accordingly. In most cases, our recommendations are just.
And has there been any other of EFF protests or rallies that were leveled higher than that? If you've done any other assessments as crime intelligence?
I don't remember. It's just that when we do our assessments, we don't normally do them in terms of political organizations. But I don't remember any.
Okay, and have you done risk assessments for other political parties? Or I know you said you don't do it in terms of political parties, right? But there are other political parties that have protests or whatever it is. Has crime intelligence been involved in doing risk assessments for them?
It's
So
one
the
of
standard.
it's a standard.
The standard
We
thing.
do-
So in your experience, the spending of 368 million on a mid-level risk assessment, and maybe you can also speak to us, what does mid-level, what does it involve? When you give that level of assessment, it means what can happen?
There are lots of factors that are considered. For instance, if the threat is a national threat, so which will mean that they need to have a plan that will cover the whole country. And also other factors that are considered is the what else is happening in the country, because then the resources, the movement of resources will be affected by what else is happening in the country. So to look at the threat and risk assessment of this particular event or threat only maybe might not then give us the correct picture. One will need then to widen the scope and zoom as to what was happening during that time of the year.
Okay, let's move on to, this committee has been subjected to this character called Paul O'Sullivan. And he doesn't want to appear before us. He has disappeared. You as head of crime intelligence, have you done any investigation into Paul O'Sullivan and his organization?
Thank you. Without maybe with the assurance of no more follow-ups on that particular question, but he has been one of our persons of interest for quite some time, few months.
Few months?
Yes.
Is different to a few years. When did he become a person of interest? And when you say a person of interest, it means what? Because he's even written this book called Stop Me If You Can, and he says that he has disrupted and reversed crime intelligence in our country. And I think as a high-ranking SAPS officials, and all of you should be
Thank you.
concerned about that.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. As I indicated earlier on today, that there are people that becomes people of interest just because they just come out of nowhere and they become something. So by saying they are for the past few months, I'm referring to me having been in charge of crime intelligence. I don't want to say yes for the past few months, but he has been a person of interest.
But you've been in crime intelligence, the head, since 2022, am I wrong? You were appointed head of crime intelligence, wasn't it in 2022?
December 2022.
So when you say months, General, you mean like months can be 12 months, that's like a year. I'm just trying to understand when you say he's been okay, instead of saying a few months, give us approximate between 5 and 6 months, or is it 12 to 14 months? Because you've been in crime intelligence, or heading up our crime intelligence rather, since 2022.
Yeah, I can say plus minus 12 months.
Okay. So that's over a year, it's not a few months. Then Lieutenant General, what have you done, or what has been done? Because having someone as a person of interest and acting on it is two different things. So just report like what has been done about him to an point that he can even go and write a book. He's implicated, he's given interviews and said that there's crime intelligence officers that gives him information and recordings, etc. So also speak to us about that. Have you investigated who those crime intelligence officers are and what's going on?
Yes, and I will share through you. There are lots of investigations that are ongoing around the subject. And I think that's why this morning one made a comment that talks to the culture in our country of looking at something happening or starting and then doing nothing until it becomes a problem. So those are one of the issues that one had to look into coming into the current position.
So Lieutenant General, there's too many investigations going on. That's all we ever hear. You were also at the commission. You said that investigations are at an advanced point on certain matters, serious matters, and we're still there. So generally, what should we expect from our police? Well, your office, your division directly, crime intelligence, like if we have that messed up, our country's messed up. Turnaround time. Because you still have those members that he talks about, whether it's true or not, we don't know. Are they still there working in crime intelligence? Do you even have the names of them?
Which members? 250.
Those he said he gets information from Paul O'Sullivan in your crime intelligence division.
Yes.
They're still working there.
Yes, the members who are there within crime intelligence, the division is at a stage. That's why one spoke of the turning around of the environment, which will take some time. It was weakened for a very long time. Now you come with the reforms, then you need tools. And then for the past 2 years, one could not fill the critical post that you expect. Then those are the tools that you need. So the challenges in the environment will need then the working together from all different levels of the arms of state.
Lieutenant General, you're sounding like a politician when you say working together, because if we still have people who are implicated, starting with our president of the country, together we will do more. But the side note on that, what needs to happen outside of you saying there must be reform? We cannot have people in crime intelligence now giving information to outsiders. This man was not even born here in this country. He's busy running NGOs. He's selling equipment and he's giving out information, and then we still have them there. What needs to happen? Because it can't be, and I don't see how you're going to do a turnaround with those people still in there. So you need to tell us what needs to happen, because it can't be that we have ongoing investigations that can go on for years and years, and then they continue being there in the same environment, and the corruption is obviously going to continue. So what must happen? Don't just say reforms, General. Tell us what must happen, what do we need to do here, and recommendations we need to make as a committee.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I explained earlier on that we needed to get our legal framework on track, of which we are almost done with that part because we need that to straighten the environment because almost there was non-existence of any policy in that environment. Including the legal framework that allows us to do our work. So once that is done, then you need proper tools in the form of personnel, people that are going to implement those reforms. Now, when we are in the middle of that process, and then we are affected by the arrests, we are affected by the holding of posts. So I was referring to months because there's been a year that has been lost because of that half of the year, no appointments, another half, the whole senior management is arrested and not allowed to go to the office. So with those challenges, but then the plan is there to be implemented. We can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
In paragraph 40, speaking about reforms, you say that you were implementing reforms and enforcing consequence management at a senior management level, but this was not supported by some senior managers. Who are those senior managers that were not supporting the reforms?
Let me start, thank you. Let me start by the current state of the division when it comes to consequence management, even at lower level, before I go to a senior level. In the division, I think there is one incident in the Western Cape where a member was arrested for a very serious crime, and the commander, the supervisor, gave that person a 1 month, salary, whatever, and then come back. So I'm just making an example to say the culture of disciplining. It's something that we need to deal with from top. We must have the correct provincial head and senior officers that are going to instill discipline, and then consequence management then will be realized.
Was there a abuse before you took over of the crime intelligence secret slush fund, as they call it?
Yes, big time.
And then what has been done about it?
There are lots of control measures that we put in place. The last incidents of millions that were reported robbed or stolen were as a result of our control measures that we put in place. Eastern Cape, I had assigned the teams to go and do the surprise inspection of the safes, and then that information leaked. And then when the team for a surprise inspection are on their way, and then the commander is reporting a robbery, a fake robbery that is not there. And then that commander was then dismissed afterwards, and then the captain was criminally charged. I'm making an example to say there are lots of reforms, the control measures that we are putting in place that were not existing, but then they come up with those challenges.
So in other words, it's not continuing under your leadership.
One would want to say it's not continuing, yes.
But there were cases that were opened by members of parliament, and we've had long discussions about this in the whole slush fund. Or do you have any response to that? Our case,
No, I don't have an idea.
The response. We had one of the members, Honorable Khaled Barnard. Have you done an intelligence report on her?
No,
There's never been or there's no intelligence investigation, I think, because Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi said that there's been information that has been collected on her. There isn't any in terms of intelligence report.
no, not as far as I know.
Because he said that if needs be, the information can come and they can show pictures and recordings. You
Yes.
don't have as the
As
crime
crime intelligence, but investigation is done then almost everywhere in SAPS.
So it might not have been, you're saying it might not have been a crime intelligence investigation.
Yes.
But we'll just confirm whether he was referring to crime intelligence or not. Have you done any crime intelligence report or have a person of interest? I don't know what the correct phrase is, into Honorable Adams, because he's the one who instigated or opened the cases or the case that had you arrested.
No, it's part of the information that, as I indicated earlier on, that if something, because we talk about people's names, especially if there is no reference or case number yet. The one that I responded to, I know that we have a reference number.
You spoke about Gauteng SAPS and you said there's about 90% of our SAPS members that are involved in cartels. Was there an actual investigation done and when did it start? How did you come to that conclusion?
It's not, that's why one is using percentage, because you gauge that as you continue with operations in a particular environment. If I may give another example, when we started with the reconfigured PKTT in KZN, around that space of political killings, we had to first arrest 35 of our own SAPS colleagues before we could.
Thank you. Thank you so much, General. The time of the member
Has
has,
been the chair. Thank you, Chair.
the time of
Honorable
the
Malema will continue tomorrow.
the time of the member has come to an end. Thank you, Honorable Matthys. I don't see any honorable member looking at me. I'm trying to look at all honorable members. None of them wants to look at me. We have taken Honorable Matthys as our last speaker so that we can start at 10 o'clock tomorrow. So tomorrow we are going to have Honorable Malema, Honorable Nwango, Honorable Sols, Honorable James, Honorable Sangoni, Honorable Ntuli, Honorable Skosana, Honorable Breitenbach. That is the list for tomorrow. Honorable Thaupa, your hand is up.
Sorry, Chair, I just want to make 100% I heard correctly. Did you say 10 or 9?
10 o'clock.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm not going to allocate a break tomorrow. I will only allocate a break on condition the general requests it. Yeah. So if it is a break, it is not your break, it is his break. Yourselves, if you want any convenience, you can just quietly and professionally sneak out of the chambers and come back. I'm working within the time that you have allocated to yourselves, so that if you do the calculations, you will see that we are going to finish somewhere before 2:00 tomorrow. Let's keep the time and discipline ourselves to compliance. Thank you so much, General, for the responses, the presentation, and the responses that you have given before this committee. And let me also thank the committee members for their commitment. Like today is a special day for them, but they are still here and still prepared to go an extra mile. I want to thank you so much. You know, our fellow members of parliament are not here. It's only us here doing the work for the next 4 weeks. And we must applaud you for this kind of commitment. It's very, very impressive. I want to call off the meeting, Honorable Skosan. But I can see on your face that
We'll find out what time are we finishing tomorrow? Is it still 1?
no, we're going to finish after 1. We're starting at 9.
Oh,
And we're starting at 10.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
past 2.
the calculations are as follows. The ANC has 1 hour, and the DA and the MKP combined is 1 hour. And the EFF and the IFP is 1 hour. And then the next 30 minutes is allocated to Honorable Sols. And then Honorable James is 15 minutes. So that is your time allocation for tomorrow. So we will finish some 15 minutes before 2:00. Yeah. Before I close the meeting, because sometimes when members speak, there are others who interject. Is there any member who want to say anything before? Thank you so much. The meeting is called off.